Kim is trying. She's running into technical difficulties.
Thank you, Dave. So this evening, we're going to chat with you briefly about the codes. As Karen said, if there's any questions, feel free to put them in the chat and we will respond to them. I'm going to ask Christine Nofree, our Dean of Students at the high school, to speak with you about what are really very minimal changes at the high school level. And then I'll ask Christine to also speak to the middle school level. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Christine.
Hi, how are you? Can you see me?
We see you and welcome. Yes.
Okay. Really at the high school, we had one addition more than a change into our code. So following the events, several events that occurred this summer, we thought we should add in there a statement that would include the banning of Confederate flags, swastikas, or any other images that may be considered hurtful, intimidating, or deemed offensive by administration. And we added that in our dress code section under number 5, where it talks about students are not to wear items that are vulgar or obscene or hurt others based on their race, weight, gender, religion, etc. And that was really the only change that we had this year. And that would be, if you're looking in your book, that should be on page 23 under dress code number 5. Oh.
Could you say a few words about them?
Sure. In the middle school as well added under the same heading of the dress code number 5, again, they added, this would include Confederate flags, the swastikas, anything that would be considered hurtful, intimidating, or deemed offensive, and they ended there. They did not include the statement as indicated by administrators. I can't hear him. Dave, you're muted.
Was that a conscious decision?
I'm sorry, I didn't hear you.
Was that a conscious decision to do that differently?
We felt at the high school that, you know, if we felt something was offensive that we left out of here, that we wanted to say that, you know, we thought it was inappropriate and that it shouldn't be in.
Okay.
The one copy that I have here does not include that.
I agree. This is mine.
Mine just says examples include Confederate flags, swastikas, or advertising of anything that is illegal. Mine does not include the hurtful and offensive stuff that you just said.
Okay, that's the middle school, Pam?
Nope, that's the high school.
That's high school for me also. Yep.
Yeah, page 23, number 5, under dress code there, it doesn't say the administrative.
I don't know what you guys got because I have it in mine and it's highlighted in yellow. You don't have that version?
Yeah, I'll show you.
It's highlighted in yellow, but it's not what she just said.
Right.
I don't know if anybody can see my screen. That's the one we have, Susan.
Okay.
And Christina.
So Chrissy, could you read that again for me?
Yes. So number 5, it says right attached after or implied manner. This would include Confederate flags, swastikas, or any other images that may be considered hurtful, intimidating, or deemed offensive by administrators.
So that should be we will make that correction.
And then we drop, so that drops the of anything that is illegal. Can you read that one more time?
Sure. So under number 5, do you see where it says?
Examples include Confederate flags, swastikas, or
Yes, this would include Confederate flags, swastikas, or other images that may be considered hurtful, intimidating, or deemed offensive by administrators.
Okay, so we're removing advertising of anything that is illegal.
I don't have that in my code.
That was in ours. That's
Okay.
what ours read, just so you know, swastikas or advertising of anything that is illegal.
Okay,
And the middle school agrees with the wording that we have on the high school, so both of them will need to be changed.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Thank you.
Wait, can we just hit that one more time? So the high school one is gonna have the addition of the administrators, you know, if they disagree with what's showing. The middle school will not? Is that what I heard everybody say?
No, it will. They're changing both of them.
Can you read what you think the middle school will be, Christina, then, so we,
it is page 23, attached to number 5. I think, let me check. I may have,
Well,
the
the
email
middle
from
school
Bob.
is page 19. And all it says is examples include Confederate flags, swastikas, or advertising of anything that is illegal.
right.
So the middle school is going to say something different than the high school.
No, aren't they both going to be changed to say the same thing?
If that's what you'd like us to do, yes, but the middle school originally left out the piece about administrators.
Right.
But we can certainly make the language consistent. If you're telling me you like the high school language better.
Is there an advantage to having different language? I mean, that seems like that would be confusing.
I think what you'd find, Dave, is that the language, because the elementary code, this was a similar change they made, but it's more age specific. So what you see in the elementary code is a bit softer than what you see at the middle school, which is a bit softer than what you see at the high school.
But high school kids may have elementary and middle school brothers and sisters that they would be going on campus for, potentially wearing stuff. Does it, you know what I mean? Like if they wear something to high school and then wear it to the middle school or elementary school, shouldn't the same rules apply no matter what campus they're on?
Well, the rule could still apply to the high school kid who goes to pick up their little sibling. But in terms of the way we would manage it disciplinarily, it would probably be different. And I think that's what the codes get to. So now the high school person could still be in trouble, certainly could be reprimanded or referred to a high school administrator by their administrator, by the elementary administrator, but it wouldn't be the elementary administrator doling out any punishment or consequence.
Okay.
I just checked the elementary and it has that original one that the high school and the middle school had.
So am I hearing you say you'd like the middle school and high school to be consistent?
That's the question. No, I was just gonna say, Pam, that's the
personally-
question.
I personally feel that they all three should be the same. If I don't,
Sorry, Pam, go ahead.
I think all three of them should be on the new one that we just agreed to.
Well, wouldn't the district code of conduct supersede each building anyhow, or no? And wouldn't we want our language to be consistent from the district code of conduct in all the buildings?
I haven't checked the district one.
The district one says the same Confederate flags, swastikas, or advertising of anything that is illegal. It just seems like it would be cleaner if all four of these things said the same thing. That way you couldn't have a high schooler at the middle school wearing something that was inappropriate for high school, but not specifically laid out in the middle school pamphlet. It seems like there's room for interpretation if there's changes between all four, or differences rather.
Again, we can do that. We can make the language in this particular area consistent across all four documents, if that's the board's desire. But I don't have a problem with doing that. I think if you have a second or third grader who might have on a t-shirt with a Confederate flag on it, it's a much different situation than when you have a senior at the high school who's wearing the Confederate flag. See what I'm saying?
Yeah, but I'm not sure I agree with you.
Yeah, I was gonna say I don't know either.
I mean, obviously some adult bought that shirt for the kid and the kid, the kid has,
That's
shouldn't
my
be
point,
wearing it.
though. That's my point though, Pam. Some adult bought that shirt for the kid.
Okay, can you
As
read?
opposed to, I'm the senior, I know what's gonna happen if I show up in my pickup truck with the Confederate flag flying, or I'm wearing a t-shirt that I chose to wear with the Confederate flag. You're right. That's why I'm saying we look at these things in terms of age and maturity and development.
I think what Susan's trying to say is the punishment is different for a kindergartner who comes with a Confederate flag t-shirt on than it is for a senior to come with a Confederate flag t-shirt on. Because that kindergartner didn't choose to put that shirt on that day, the parents did. So you would be punishing the parents rather than the kindergartner.
Well, I mean, all we're talking about right now is what's expected. There isn't. We're only asking to change the examples include. I don't believe we've talked about punishment.
No, but
Punishment
I'm
can
saying
be.
if there was an issue with it, that's the degree of like a kindergartner versus an adult. I see the same thing too. We're saying there's too many room for loopholes if we don't have it consistent across the board. Because someone could say it wasn't in the handbook, so I didn't read it, or a parent could say, well, it's in the high school one, but it's not in the elementary one. So I can see that, and I can see it on the level too of where you're talking to. If I was talking to my second grader, it'd be a different conversation than I would be having with my junior.
So I would say that, Susan and Christina, if there's no objections, strong objections from the elementary group.
Oh, Dave, we lost you. If there's no strong.
I'm just sorry, if there's no objection from elementary or middle school and we need a further discussion, let's just change them all to read the way we decided the high school would read. And
Christine, can you read the new high school one once again,
Sure.
please?
It says this, so under dress code number 5, I would add on, and it would say, this would include Confederate flags, swastikas, or other images that may be considered hurtful, intimidating, or deemed offensive by administrators.
That says nothing about punishment. I personally have no problem in it being the same in all four.
okay, so
Great.
Pam, Dave, Kim,
Sorry, yeah, that's fine.
Rick.
I think that leaves it very ambiguous, for an administrator to decide what's offensive. I mean, that's.
I will say we need to leave a little bit of leeway here.
Yes.
Because if there's something that we did not cover and, we don't want this to be taking place. It could be something that all of a sudden becomes chic during the year.
Mm-hmm.
It gives the administrators that ability to add on, this is offensive. We don't want you wearing this. And they can make that.
Okay, and I'm sorry to do it one more time, Christine. Could you just please read it one more time? I'm so sorry.
Sure. All right, so under dress code number 5, I'm adding on, and I added, this would include Confederate flags, swastikas, or other images that may be considered hurtful, intimidating, or deemed offensive by administrators.
Okay, I'll go through one more time then. Does anybody object us having them all that way? All the same. If not, then we will direct the parties to change those.
Yes.
Okay.
Susan, can I ask a quick question?
Sure.
Yeah.
So on that given day, a student would have to turn their shirt inside out for the time being and understand they can't wear it back, just saying that it was a t-shirt, for example.
Yes.
Okay,
Or if they had a change of clothes in their backpack, they could change their shirt.
okay, thank you.
You're welcome. We appreciate the board's flexibility because frankly, there will be times when we as administrators might think something is offensive that a parent might think is perfectly all right. And that's going to get into a different discussion altogether. Is there anything else?
Oh, in the code?
Yes.
Yeah. Any other questions for the code?
Yes. On page 50, if we could look on page 50 of the district code of conduct.
Yes.
52 rather, I'm sorry, 52. Visitors to our school.
Yes.
I'm curious, are board members considered regular staff members?
Nope, you are
No.
visitors like everyone else. So you don't have carte blanche to be walking the schools. If you want to come in, you call, you make an appointment, just like any other community member would, Rick.
So could I propose that we amend the code of conduct on section 2 to say anyone who is not a board member, comma, regular staff member or student of the school be considered a visitor?
We don't have, by state law, we don't have that special access to the school.
Okay.
Correct. You are still visitors. Very much in the same way that when I go to schools, I'm still a visitor. I sign in as a visitor does. I make my intentions clear. I do what every visitor does.
Okay.
Rick, a little history on this part of it is there was, and it was not our school district, but years ago they had like Board of Education members sitting in classes auditing teachers when, as you know, it's not our job to be doing daily, the day-to-day operations of the school. And so at one point I remember, it wasn't all that long ago. It might have even been in one of our one of our conferences where they really emphasized to the board members that don't just walk into your school unannounced. You're a board member when you're in your board meetings, and you don't carry the board insignia from a decision making perspective that way. So I mean, but honestly, like if you make a phone call, you're gonna be able to get into school. You just gotta like call and set up an appointment.
Yeah, I have done that several times, gone to look at classes and whatever. And Susan is usually the one that sets it up for me. I let her know that I would like to go visit a school and just look around and see what's going on. And she has kindly set up things for her where I've been able to go into the schools and just see what's happening.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm sure there's backstory, and I'm not surprised that there's just like I'm not surprised that horseback riding is not allowed on school. So
It's not?
Wasn't expecting that was gonna be, okay. That was
Right,
it. That-
Rick,
that's
you
the
can
last-
ride horseback on school as long as you don't go around the track with it.
Not true, not
I know,
true.
not true at all. It's, any other questions? This
Yeah.
includes, by the way, the sports manual as well.
So Dave, can I just break in? And there's a couple questions in the question, the question field. So the conversation we were having around page 23 of the different levels, I'm referencing the high school, but does this apply to just clothing? Was one of the questions that was asked from the community. So going back to the piece, the new language that would be added.
I don't think it says clothing, does it?
So it's
Yeah,
under the
Dress code.
Dress code, yeah.
Oh, Karen,
Yeah, it's
it would
under dress
apply-
code, but
It was dress code, but it would apply to the flag, it would apply to visuals on your textbooks, it would apply to anywhere where you could be doing any of those offensive items.
Thank you. And then the other question in the chat that applies to the same section is, when will this be rolled out to students and staff?
As soon as the board adopts the codes
Thank you.
and we make the changes.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
The question was just added to the chat. How will it be rolled out?
So Karen, typically we have grade level assemblies, but this year they will be virtual. So
Thank you.
usually at the high school, Mr. Bednarik, Mr. Favia, and myself will get together with grade levels and we will present a lot of the key points in the code of conduct. Since this year we don't have everybody at the same time, we're going to be doing it virtually and we will be showing it to students.
Thank you. That's all the questions in the chat for now.
Thank you, Kay. Dave Fucifero, do you think we are there?
I believe we are. Does any of the other board members have questions?
Nope.
No.
Nope.
Nope.
Okay. I think then we're there unless there's another question from the community, but productive meeting.
Thank you very much. Chrissy,
All
thank
right,
you.
thank you.
So folks, I'm going to stop the recording right now and then we will start another recording for the board meeting.
We're
Board
same.
meeting.
We're in the same
We're staying in the same
WebEx.
spot.
Okay.
Correct.
We need a motion to approve that code?
We will do that during the board meeting.